Oftentimes, you'll hear guys that say, well, I tried it and I didn't like it. I couldn't pick up the dot. Okay, how many times did you try it? It's not like buying a car where you take it for a test drive. All right, you have to spend some time with it. And unless you have some sort of medical issue with your eyes, or you are just resistant to the idea, you'll be able to pick up the dot once you're trained how to do it. All right, the problem again is that not everybody knows how to run these things, and what they're doing is they're trying to use iron sight methodology to teach the red dot, and that's a mistake. So to recap, picking up the dot on a pistol is greatly dependent on your trained and developed body index. Number 2, the backup iron sights, or as they are sometimes called, Cowitness sights or suppressor sights, are of the utmost importance for a number of reasons that I have pointed out in the past. All right, number 1, they serve as training wheels for the new red dot shooter. The new red dot shooter that has fired iron-sighted weapons all his life or her life and is now experimenting with a red dot. If those backup sights are in place and he has trained to pick those up instantly and automatically and repetitively over and over and over, if the red dot is set to coincidence with those iron sights, every time that he picks up those iron sights visually, what else is going to be in his visual field? Why, the red dot, of course. Okay? Now, again, this is inherent in the ability of the shooter to align the weapon by feel and using only the sights to verify that alignment. That is the classic way that my old friend and mentor Jeff Cooper taught his students how to do. The sights don't align the weapon. The sights verify an alignment that's already in place. If you verify that alignment with the iron sights and the red dot is there, the red dot will also verify the alignment. Now, because the red dot is bright and red and the eye is attracted to it, eventually what happens, through some degree of practice, nothing's free, the eye will immediately start picking up the red dot and virtually start ignoring the iron sights. All right, so the red dot is not used in conjunction with the iron sights in practicality. It is used independent of the iron sights. The iron sights are there, in this case, as training wheels to get the eye to look at the dot. The second thing that the backup iron sights or Cowitness sights do with the pistol are that it provides for an instant visual immediate action drill if you ever lose the dot because of a malfunction or because of a misposition of the eye in relation to the sights. If you lose the dot, you automatically go to the irons and use the irons, or use the irons to pick up the dot. Okay? Now, the third issue is to constantly be able to re-verify your zero. And again, anything man-made can break. Adjustment dials have been known to go cattywampus and misadjust, or dots misalign, or what have you. And one of the things that we advocate is every morning when you leave the house, you do a weapons check, and part of that weapons check is that you check the dot in relation to the irons. Okay? And so the irons are there to re-verify constantly every time that you check the weapon, every time that you point in, and so on and so forth in training, that the dot is where you left it. Now, with a pistol, we don't have folding backup iron sights. It'd be kind of cool if somebody invented it, but I think in a handgun they would be so small and complicated they would be almost useless. But anyway, I digress. So we have fixed iron sights. They're there all the time. It would be our preference if they weren't there all the time and only there when we needed them. But again, that's not possible right now. So they're there all the time. The issue comes up, where do we want to have them co-witness? How tall do we want them to be? And all of this sort of thing. Okay. Now, Here is where you have to understand the difference between a pistol and a rifle. With a rifle, you can fold down those sights and they're out of the way until you need them or want them. Okay? So with a rifle, you can have complete, true co-witness. That means that the iron sights appear in the center focal plane of the screen of the red dot. Okay, look at the image here. This will give you an idea. Now you'll notice that with a full co-witness setup, the complete co-witness, that the iron sights do in fact block out a great deal of your field of view downrange. It's almost as if you're looking through an aperture sight, or what Cooper used to call a ghost ring. That is not optimal, in my opinion. And but you know what? If people want complete co-witness, we'll sell them co-witness. I'm a capitalist, okay? But you will get every bit of benefit of having a co-witness system of sights by going to the lower third co-witness. All right, if you look at the picture here, this shows a lower third co-witness. So in essence, what you do is you take the visual window of the red dot and you divide it up into thirds. The lower third is where the sights coincide with the red dot. And since they're in the lower third, when you shoot through the center visually. You shoot through the center of the red dot, and thus the iron sights, to the shooter visually disappear. They're out of focus. They're not in the limelight, but they're there when needed. On the other hand, looking back at the complete co-witness, those sights are right there. You can't ignore them. You can't look around them. They will always be there in your visual field. Does that prevent you from using the red dot properly? No, it doesn't. But it just creates a greater degree of visual clutter that is unnecessary and yields nothing of benefit in return. Again, that's the main difference between the two. Consider the difference between a pistol and a rifle and the points of contact and the ease of acquiring the dot. And then consider the difference between the lower 1/3 co-witness, which is what we advocate and suggest, and the complete co-witness that some are suggesting. The lower 1/3 co-witness will yield everything that the full co-witness will, but not get in the way and create visual clutter for you while you're shooting. Look at the images again and decide for yourself. And as always, stay dangerous.